aliens and they're living in your town. They have arrived. What? They're all around. So many aliens living in your town.
What up, weirdos? How's everybody doing out there?
Good, good.
Doing well. Doing well.
I can't hear anybody. We are starting off there we go. I can hear everybody now. How are you guys doing, my weirdos?
Doing well, man.
Very good. It's freezing my nards off.
I'm enjoying it, but today was deceptive because originally it was warmer this morning for the first morning where I didn't wear a sweater to work. And then it warmed up to a beautiful temperature, and then it dropped to this temperature we have now, which is freezing.
I'm not sure if this has anything to do with it, but scientists are saying the northern pole part of the world is shifting oh so slightly, and it's doing it at a pace quicker than it's ever done it before. Is that just a cycle, or is there something else going on? Vicky, educator?
Reading teacher. Again, not science, not
I know,
math.
but you give us credibility. Come on.
No, I don't know. I read, isn't there like some kind of thing that's causing like some kind of vortex kind of tornado type?
Some bullshit's
weather,
going on out there. But is it, I guess my question, is this just a weird cycle, or are humans doing this? I know it's a very controversial topic. Beckett, you like controversy.
Well, I think global warming's real, and I think that humans are exacerbating it. Whether the polar vortex is because of global warming, I don't know.
I know this isn't a popular opinion, but soda in styrofoam cups is some of the best soda ever. It tastes so good.
Really?
I know it's terrible. Yeah, it's terrible for the environment.
Bad for the environment, bad for your teeth.
It's the worst thing ever. I like what I like, Denny. I'm sorry, but yeah.
Are you sure it's not because it usually comes with really good ice?
It's all, when it comes to soda, you're right. Crushed ice makes soda taste so much better.
So much better.
Oh, it's so good. Concession stand ice with concession stand soda, that's tough to say.
You're a big ice guy, though. You're always pushing that ice agenda.
Yeah, do you guys know that when you go to a fast food restaurant, there's like 50% fecal matter in the ice that you are drinking and consuming?
Human fecal?
Yes.
Ew.
Yes, you are drinking.
And rat fecal as well.
Probably rat. Yeah, not to freak everybody out. We've talked about it a lot on the morning show. But when you go to a gas station, you go to a convenience store, you go to a fast food place, when you get sodas with ice in it, or even iced tea, anytime you're getting ice, you are getting a good amount of poop. You're just getting poop.
Poop mouth.
Yeah. Isn't that terrible? Don't tell me how it's done.
Yeah. Just think about it.
I don't want to, Denny's.
In Forbes, it says this is why global warming is responsible for the freezing.
Okay, what's it? Give us the top three. Because I have a feeling Forbes put 20 answers down there.
Each one's richer than the next.
Yes.
Let's see if I can scroll.
We're on live, Beckett.
I know. You'll have to come back to me.
All right. So, Vicky, we've got some requests. We put something on our Instagram talking about we want some more Vicky creepy stories. You're telling me you've got something that's happened to you that's never happened before.
Right. It's not creepy, but it's definitely very unusual. I've been investigating since January of 2007, so that's 12 years. I have a location that we did a cleansing on. Things were really good for 6 months. Something came back. We did another cleansing. It held for another 4 months or so. So it's time to go back and do a reassessment on what's going on. So I texted my investigator because it's near where she lives. So I sent her a text and I said, hey, can you and such run over to this address and do a walkthrough? Let me know what you think. So I sent that like at 10:16 in the morning. She didn't answer me, which is very unusual for her. So at 7-something at night, I sent a text, hey, are you okay? And she goes, yeah, why? I said, well, you didn't answer my text. She goes, which one? The one asking me if I'm okay? I'm like, no, I sent you a text this morning. So I proceeded to cut and paste and send it again. Did not go through. She's getting all of my other texts except for that one. I cut and pasted a third time, send it. She still does not get it. So I just call her and tell her, about the case a little bit. So I sent a message to the client that same night, sent it to her, texted it to her, didn't hear from her, waited until the next day. I happen to know the client's mother. So I called and I said, hey, is this still her phone number? because I sent her a text. She didn't respond. She goes, well, she's right here with me. She never got a text. So she says, send it to my phone instead. I proceeded to send that message another 2 times. All of those messages have never reached those phones.
It's all about
It's all about going to this house and what we're going to do.
Are you going on record saying that some type of spirit or entity is going and blocking technology?
All I know is that it has never happened. It's certainly, I mean, if you try to send it a total of 6 times.
From different to two different numbers, yeah.
Actually, 3 different numbers I tried to send a text to that were all involved in the case. So I sent it to my daughter. It went straight to her phone.
Interesting.
I sent both messages to my daughter. It went to her phone. Then she sent it to my investigator, and both of those messages went to my investigator. But the messages coming from me to the client and my investigator never reached them. They even, my investigator even like shut her phone off and restarted it, and she never got it.
Denny, you look like you're in deep thought. What's on your mind?
I'm just thinking about like what could have prevented the text from getting through.
And you can see, if I pull it up, you can see there's no notices on my phone like saying that, okay, like here. You see like sometime I've sent my daughter one and it didn't go through, right? Well, here is my investigator. There's no thing that says that that message didn't go through. And here's the mother. It doesn't indicate that it didn't go through.
For sure. And you can see other ones that have had issues.
Is this something that happens, though, with the paranormal and technology? Do you hear stories of this stuff?
There's been times where I have called investigators and they said, you know, the call never went through, or they've gotten 1 text. But to not get 6 texts.
For example, let's say you're a ghost from the 1800s, and all of a sudden now there's all this technology. Are you able to adapt with the technology as a ghost? If all of a sudden ghosts are, you know, going through your cell phones and messing up text messages, are these spirits from the 1800s going, well, what's this text message about? Let me try to go ahead and
I don't know.
Are they going to understand how to
No.
penetrate the technology?
I imagine it's more that they interfere with how our technology works.
Yeah.
But are they still kind of baffled by it? Are they like, wow, this wasn't around when I was around?
Or them being around like interferes with a text message being able to be sent. It somehow interferes with devices. I probably imagine, you know, picking up ghost sounds and such is probably from just it being able to pick up low-lying audio from an audio recorder that we can't hear with our ears.
Well, how conscious is a spirit? I mean, are we talking full-on thought where they know what sandwiches are, or are they just kind of going on feelings?
We've gotten EVPs that prove that they're fully if they can answer my questions, sometimes complicated questions, they're laughing at us when we do something stupid. I mean, they're conscious. They are watching us.
Skeptic, Beckett, you're awfully quiet. What are your thoughts?
I was just going to Google to see if there's got to be stories where paranormal communication happens via technology, like texting.
Yeah, I would imagine that's a way for the ghosts and spirits to totally mess with us, right?
Well, Denny's big on vibrations and waves and stuff, right? So like that would be a very interesting medium in terms of a way for paranormal to communicate, right? Because it just becomes basically waves.
Well, yeah, because information sent through Wi-Fi, I believe is 108.22 or something. That's the frequency band it's on. So when you have a Wi-Fi router, it's tuning to that frequency in the airwaves, and that one we found is stable enough to send information.
Right.
I mean, like that we stream video and stuff on. So, yeah, everything is vibrations. That is a definitive.
There's the theory too that the reason why sometimes some people will see spirits, and I don't know if you've ever heard of this before, Vicky, where there's some kind of electronic field and water that collects together, and that combination somehow shows an apparition to where you could see that. Have you ever heard something like that where water?
Well, some people feel that water is conducive for activity, but some cultures says that it prevents activity. Like some cultures will put glasses of water by their bed at night to protect them, saying that spirits can't cross the water.
It's all about the culture.
It's like Signs.
It's all about
Remember that movie Signs, Mel Gibson?
Gosh, I love that movie. I am such an M. Night Shyamalan fan. I think he gets so much shit because the guy comes up with great endings, and then if his last ending isn't as good as the other one, the critics give him shit.
Yeah.
Big M. Night Shyamalan fan. I love Signs.
But that was glasses of water, right? Wasn't there a bunch of glasses of water in Signs like
I mean,
left around the house?
Spoiler alert. Jeez, Beckett.
But I mean, yeah.
Oh man, it's such a good movie. Highly recommend. That's on the Birds. Highly recommend. Did you see that, Vicky?
Yeah, we still, Bobby Joe and I, whenever we want a psychic opinion from each other, we say, okay, put on your tinfoil hat. That's what we use as our reference.
Well,
on that movie.
my favorite part of that movie is when Mel Gibson's on the couch with Joaquin Phoenix, and it's all kind of going down, but no one knows what's happening. There's ships out there in the sky, and here on Earth, everybody knows, okay, UFOs, aliens, they are real. And there's two kinds of people when Mel Gibson's asking, some people look up there and they get filled up with hope that there's something else out there and there's someone looking after us. And then there's other people who say we're all alone and this is just doom and gloom. And it really is kind of how people look at life. There's people that think, okay, when we die, we're going to another level. And then there's other people, yep, this is it. I'm like Shyamalan, tap into that emotion.
That's right.
And with this case, there was a couple ways for me to look at it. I could say, okay, something doesn't want me there because that means I am going to get rid of it. And the other way could be like, oh, your protection doesn't want you to go. Well, by now my protection knows that it's game on now. You do something like that, you try to prevent me, I'm going no matter what. But I'm not going to let my investigators go the way I'd originally planned. I'm going to go there myself with them.
Nice, interesting, good stuff. I like it. That'll be a regular feature. Vicky's creepy stories, or just interesting.
So we need some lightning in there.
Yeah, we should make a little theme or something. Denny's, are you ready for some Denny's random facts?
Always.
All right, give it to us. And Vicky, as always, as our educator,
I get graded. I know last time.
Yeah.
you will be judged and graded.
I didn't know if you guys have heard of this effect, but it's called the spotlight effect. It is a phenomenon which people tend to believe they are being noticed more than they really are.
Kind of like the Truman Show theory, where people think they're being filmed and watched.
So I guess humans innately have a tendency to forget that they are not the center of everything. Humans by nature have their own ego, and it drives them. So occasionally you'll have a lapse in judgment to where you will get tricked into feeling the spotlight effect. Which is kind of cool. I think everybody goes through it, especially at a young age. I used to think everybody was robots, and I was like the only person. You know, when you're a kid, you're like...
Yeah, I thought the whole Truman Show thing was, when I was younger...
Everyone's just actors.
Yeah, I thought it was being filmed. I'm like, they're all against me. I know they all are against me.
So I was looking at some urban legends, and I was just curious to what your guys' thoughts were on this as I reveal this next fact.
But hold on. By the way, Vicky, a grade on that one.
That was, yeah.
Wow,
The
harsh.
spotlight effect.
Like a B minus.
Wow, I kind of thought it was an interesting
Passing.
observation.
I'll
Passing.
take it. I'll take it.
Denny's, I loved it.
So I was just going to ask you guys theories as I was finding this fact here. On urban legends, you know how we love urban legends. We all have our own. And then also like, what do you call it? Like Bloody Mary or, stuff like that where you look in the mirror and you recite something. There's an urban legend in Japan called Akamoto. It's a malicious spirit that kills people in public bathrooms.
Yeah, I've heard of this before.
But here's what made me think about it. I was like, what a random thing. So he offers you either a red cloth or a blue cloth, and whichever one you pick is basically how you die. If you pick the red one, he slices you into pieces. If you pick the blue one, he chokes you till you're blue.
Beckett, which one would you rather, if you have to pick?
Yeah, you have to pick between red or blue.
Slice or choked?
I think choked.
I think choked too. Slicing is so totally messed up, man.
You wonder if it's faster, though.
Yeah, I wonder if it's more painful.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vicky, what do you go with, choked or sliced?
I'd probably be choked.
I think, yeah, I'm with you.
But here's what's funny. Like, when I read that, I think that's a cool urban legend, but we don't have that one. So I have no fear of that.
Do you guys remember the legend of Bloody Mary as a kid?
Right.
Did it ever
Yeah.
scare you?
As a kid.
We did it.
Well, I did
Yeah,
it too.
I did it as
I'm gonna
well.
say,
I didn't do it.
that bee never came.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. But as a kid, the story is scary. But like that story to Japanese culture probably isn't that scary. Just like this one's not that scary to me.
So why does he show up? Like, do they have to do anything for him to show up? He just randomly
It's a
shows up?
random thing. I did a bunch of reading into it because I thought the same thing. I was like, so what provokes this spirit from coming? But it's just a malicious spirit that can show up. I mean, and just it offers you the choice.
Can anybody here on the panel do or describe the Bloody Mary tale in 10 seconds or less? Is anyone up for the task? If you had to. Someone comes in here and says, I want to know about Bloody Mary in 10 seconds or less. Can anybody do it?
You go to the mayor, you recite her name 3 times, and then she comes and kills you.
Oh, Vicky.
There you go.
Okay. We do have, that's like 3 seconds.
That was quick.
That was very good.
That was very good.
Very impressive.
All right, so what do you guys raise that urban legend? I think it's a cool urban legend, but what do you guys think about the question? Like, are things only scary because we heard about them as kids? Or is that like, now that I know about that, am I susceptible to that guy killing me in a public bathroom if urban legends were real? Like,
Yeah, I think
they're just such a weird thing to me now.
Well, I just think too, growing up, there's certain things that stick with you, and it's like music and food. There's so much as you're just becoming a human, I think stays with you as an adult, and it does shape you a bit. So yeah, I do agree. If it was something that we were scared of as kids and we learned about that, we would be afraid of it.
It's just so
I agree with
funny.
your theory.
But aren't there some things that you were like deathly afraid of as a kid, and you look back and you're like, oh, that wasn't that scary? Like Freddy Krueger used to scare the hell out of me when I was a kid, and now I watch it and I think it's hilarious.
That
That was
kid,
kind of
you-
hokey.
He actually watched a horror movie?
Yeah.
You're in my brain today because I got a Freddy Krueger question later on.
Remember, you forgot the power glove.
I thought the first Nightmare on Elm Street was horrifying, but I watched it probably at age 8.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
That's a scary movie. I'd put that in the top 10 scariest movies.
As a kid, for sure. Like you said, though, upon revisiting, though, I mean, the first one in the series is always the best. First, I thought Friday the 13th. The other ones get creepy, but the first one's the best one.
I agree. I think Halloween, the original
Halloween.
with Michael Myers, I think is my all-time favorite scary movie. Now, I watched the new one. Did you see that one, Vicky?
No, the brand new one I haven't yet.
I could not stand it. I thought it sucked. Email me, fight me, tell me why I'm wrong, but explain why that movie was good. They were blowing that thing in the press, thinking, "Oh, this is the best movie ever." I watched it, thoroughly disappointed. Please email me, tell me why I am wrong for trashing that movie.
See, I don't like the Rob Zombie ones because
They're
I
pretty
think
graphic.
it's too sick.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty sick.
I think Aliens 2 was better than Aliens 1.
yeah. There's
I
some
wouldn't
sequels
argue
that
that.
are.
Yeah.
Some would stay with you on that one.
Aliens is awesome. The second one, that's James Cameron.
Yeah, and there's the guy when he came back to the ship. He goes, "I don't know if you guys are keeping track of current events, but we just got our asses kicked."
I actually like Friday the 13th 2, 3, and 4. Maybe even better than part 1. So I think there's some sequels that are better. It's tougher. I think it's tougher for sequels to be better than the original when it becomes a horror movie
For
or
sure.
a comedy.
Or a comedy, yeah.
Yeah, if it's like The Godfather, there's some drama to it.
Godfather 2 is arguably better than 1.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
definitely.
Yeah, I'm
And
a big,
Empire Strikes Back.
look, I'm a big fan of Karate Kid 2 and 3.
Those
No, I like
ones got-
Halloween H2O. That's one of my favorite
Vicky,
ones.
get out.
I like that one.
Did you like? I did
Yeah,
not
I
like
like-
that. I did. No, after part 2, I was done with all. Well, part 4 was all right too. There's so many of them.
And I'm weird, like with Nightmare on Elm Street. The one that bothers me is the one where the girl grows up and she has a kid, and he comes after the kid. Because I think I watch it from a mother's perspective. So to me, that one's scarier.
So if you watch a scary movie and they allude that the kid gets killed, are you against that for writers to do that, or do you think sometimes writers have to do that to give you that
Uncomfortable.
I guess it all depends on what are you looking for in your entertainment.
Right. It
Some people
depends on the
want that.
story.
Yes, and some people want to feel like shit when they're watching programming.
Yeah. But like things like Pet Cemetery, I don't like the fact that the kid dies.
Gay Gage is his name. Gabe, I forget. Yeah,
I don't like that the kid dies in that.
That's a weird movie too. Speaking of stuff where people are losing their shit about, the Ted Bundy stuff on Netflix. Have you seen that yet?
Yeah, and I honestly, maybe I'm desensitized, but there wasn't anything in it that freaked me out. It was very educational. There were some things that I had forgotten, that had occurred, but I just found it, educational. And there's one scene where they're interviewing him, and I think he's in his cell, and he's like, ha ha ha, joking, being all personable, and then he looks straight into the camera. How anybody could have seen that and not known that this was a sick individual, I do not know, because the look that he gives to that camera, that was chilling of any part of it when he looked straight in that camera.
The creepy part that I guess I didn't really realize was when Ted Bundy escaped the first time. He escaped twice, Becky. I don't know if you know much about Ted Bundy.
I didn't know he escaped once.
He escaped twice. And the thing about Ted Bundy, the reason why he got caught, he was the shittiest driver in the land. I swear to God, he's had three traffic violations that brought him down every single time.
Jeez.
But he escaped from jail and hid out in the woods for 7 days and lost 25 pounds. And what a horrifying concept when you really think about that. Ted Bundy, serial killer, lurking out in the woods. That is what nightmare. That's the scariest movie you could write. A legit serial killer in the woods. Holy shit!
Should I watch the series?
Yeah, you would love it because you don't know that much about Ted Bundy. You would learn a lot. Me and Vicky, we're sick. We watched this. We've known this stuff since the 80s. So yeah, I'd give it a solid B. There was a lot of stuff that I knew, but the debate now, everyone's, people are pissed off. You're glorifying Ted Bundy, and people are calling Ted Bundy hot. Let's go on the record. Ted Bundy wasn't that hot.
No,
he's serial killer hot.
And I know that they say that he was smart, but there were times that he was very bumbling when he was talking. He was not that eloquent every single time he opened his mouth.
Agree. Well, that, again, it shouldn't be that controversial of a statement, but it is for some reason. The media likes to control the narrative. They say he was a genius. He was great looking, charming, blah, blah, blah. They are the ones that painted that narrative. The media did.
Right. Because I was listening to some of the times when he was talking outside the courthouse and things like that, and he did not sound that intelligent or smooth.
He sounded like a dude barely hanging on. He was out of his mind.
And then when he defended himself in court, when he was cross-examining and asking to go over those same details of the crime scene, I mean, how was that even allowed?
Yeah, there's a quote. I'm paraphrasing because I'm not going to nail it, but it was something along the lines where he was talking about how, being a serial killer, the first couple times it's like, you are so meticulous about everything. You're paranoid. You're checking every little thing, and by the 40th time you do it, it's like changing a tire. It's so just mundane, regular. Here I go.
Yeah,
that's a pretty creepy way of thinking.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But yeah, people, the whole complaint is, why are you glorifying Ted Bundy? We've talked about it here before on the podcast. I can see both sides. A lot of people are saying people are snowflakes. They got to get over themselves. It's educational. It's helping people getting that story out. And then some people are saying, yeah, but you got Zac Efron playing him, the hot guy.
For sure.
I can see both sides.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't that hot, but he also wasn't ugly, so you couldn't get an ugly actor to play him
You're
either.
You're right.
And there's some pictures when they show how he changed his appearance. He looks like Rob Lowe, actually, in a couple of those shots.
Yeah.
I thought I was looking at Rob Lowe for a minute.
He looks like
a.k.a. Beckett over here.
Sometimes I think he also looks like the dude from La La Land.
Ryan Gosling?
Yeah, I think he looked like Ryan Gosling at certain angles. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a good documentary. I give it a solid
So how
B.
can you say he's not a good-looking guy if he's a cross between Ryan Gosling and...
It's just, I don't think he was that great looking. He wasn't like stunning. Like if I had crossed him in the street, I wouldn't have turned around to check him out.
I'm not saying he's identical to. There's moments where someone can remind me of somebody, and he just reminds me of it. Is all. But
and he changed his appearance a lot of times.
Some people are into weird stuff, though. I mean, remember that guy? I think he was half African American, half white, and he had those like crystal blue eyes, and he had all those tats, and his picture went viral. He got arrested.
Yeah,
his
his
mugshot.
mugshot.
Oh,
went
the
viral.
hot felon. Yeah.
Hot felon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Girls were taking that picture home. Like
That guy actually was really good looking, though. That's a good looking guy.
He was, but I think he had like domestic violence.
Oh,
charges.
did he?
Yeah.
It's weird what we glorify in the
But he
media.
got like a modeling gig out of that.
Yeah, he did.
I don't doubt that. Why we're talking about Netflix specials, check out Murder Mountain on Netflix.
Oh, it sounds horrible.
It's about that Humboldt County. Now, Denny's can talk about the Humboldt County. It's this county out in California, and so many people go missing. They don't know where they go. They're just gone. And it's a shit ton of people. And it's all kind of linked to the pot world.
Well, so I had some friends that lived out there, and they always talked about Humboldt County, but it's in Northern California, and I guess in the area that it's in, it's kind of remote, and it was one of the first counties that got big. I think they even did a movie called Homegrown with Billy Bob Thornton that takes place like somewhere out there where they're pot farmers. And so the area, I guess, got notorious for pot farming. But if you go to their Wikipedia page and just look up by their county, they have the most missing cases like per capita or something. It's like an astronomically high number. In fact, it's such a high number, it's got its own little section talking about how there is a really high number of missing persons cases there. And they think that it's possibly related to the fact that there was so much pot
That's
distribution.
what I was going to
there.
ask.
Well, for sure.
So
for
there's
sure.
a couple theories. So I think there's some drug activity going on where people are going missing. A lot of people go out there kind of almost like hippies. They want to get off the grid. They
go pick jobs, grow houses.
The
cutting
pot
buds.
trimming is big out there, and
Yep.
they love it. The people they were interviewing in the documentary, they love that way of life. They love being off the grid, kind of a spiritual experience. But there is this element of missing people, and also bodies being found as well.
Yeah.
But it's like the wild, wild west out there. A couple theories. Some of it's drug related, and then some of it is the fact that some serial killers may know that there's not a lot of law out there, and they literally get away with murder, pun intended, and they're kind of just having a field day.
And their victims are already chill, so it's
Yeah.
not hard to grab them.
Yeah.
Would you, if given the option and you had a kid until the age of 16, 18, put a location chip in the kid?
I would not.
detract.
No,
Yeah, I
I
probably
wouldn't.
wouldn't either.
No.
What's the downside?
The downside is I don't know what that chip's going to eventually do to the kid. You start putting chips into. The only chip I put in my kid is what, Denny's?
Potato chips.
Thank you, Denny's. Yeah, I mean, potato or chocolate. Yeah, I don't like injecting weird things in my body. I'm odd. I'm old
Like
school.
nano machines.
Yeah, I just feel like, you can track your kid, but then everybody can track your kid, and I don't know who has that kind of technology. I didn't have it. My sisters didn't have it.
Plus, I mean, imagine being a kid and finding out you're being tracked. You would be like, I have to give kids privacy.
What
I
if
needed
it-
my privacy
Yeah,
when I was a
I
kid.
actually hate it, Beckett.
What if it was nanotechnology, it was guaranteed to be safe, go somewhere, and the kid knows about it, and the location device is put in a security deposit box in the bank, and it only is used if there was some reason, like some kind of kidnapping or something.
Again, I hate it so much.
Hate it?
I hate it. Vicky, would you put a chip in your daughter?
No.
Why?
Well, first of all, she's a human being, and I have raised her a certain way, and I have to trust that she's going to make the right decisions. We have a cell phone. You know, if she were in danger, she probably could figure out a way to use it as somebody's kidnapping her. But, I mean, she needs to be a kid. She needs to make her choices. She needs to, even if they're, a not-so-wise choice. And to be honest, it would be like really obsessive compulsive for me to be constantly watching and seeing what she's doing. I would go crazy doing that.
To me, that's always been the one thing I always wondered about being a parent. I feel like I would constantly be worried about my kid, even if they were in the other room. I just know how my mind works. I would think they're definitely trying to put a fork in the
light socket.
The light socket. There's no way they're not, or they're totally trying to jump out the window.
Yeah.
And the older they get, I mean, my mom was so overprotective to the point where I have serious mental issues, but she did it because she loved me. I get why she did it, but I understand why she did. I mean, I mean, as a mom, do you go through those kind of things where your daughter goes out and you are constantly worried, or does it subside the older she gets?
It just depends on where she's at. It depends on, like, if I know I have delivered her safely and she's not getting in someone else's car and going to another location. It depends on where she's at. So you might have just a couple minutes where you're like, and then you're like, uh-oh. And then you go and pick up the phone, and then you text, and then they don't answer, and then you panic. And, you know, you try not to, where are you?
Yeah, because I would hate to be a helicopter parent. I would not want to do that, but I know internally I would be. I would want to know everything. I feel like I would be a dad that would absolutely snoop because I want to know what the hell's going on. But I know that's wrong.
Yeah, and I'm blessed.
Or is it? I don't know. Is it wrong? I don't know.
Well, the kids have to make their own decision. I'm blessed that she definitely leans towards the conservative side. She doesn't believe in smoking. She doesn't, you know, drink. She'll actually lecture kids who are, you know, drinking at a party underage and stuff like that. So I'm lucky. I got very lucky, but it's also what I taught her.
Yeah, I remember I was like that too. And then a year into college, my nickname was Kager Pennington. Just kidding, Vicky. Sort of.
What about Beckett? What do you feel since you proposed the question?
I think I'd do it. I think I'd put it in a safety deposit box, and I think I'd look at it as like insurance. Like, you don't really appreciate, you hate stroking a check for your insurance every month until you have to use it. And you're like, oh my God, thank God I have insurance. And that's just how I look at it. And I think that every parent, you know, some to different degrees, are worried and over nervous and, you know, protective and everything like that. I think you get used to it after a while. But I think it'd be nice to have that. I mean, I've always done the analogy, like, sometimes we're more humane to our animals in terms of we'll put them out of their misery and when they're sick, and we won't do that for humans in terms of assisted suicide or however you want to use semantics around it. So I say that because we chip our dogs if our dogs get found, and that's how they find their way back home.
But they also lick their balls and eat their poop.
Yeah, but they do it because they can. The balls part. But I just think that if you feel like you have the control to not be a helicopter parent and be like, oh, my kid's at so-and-so's house when they said they were at school, that's one thing. But if you have the discipline and the maturity to say, hey, I'm only going to use this as absolutely necessary. And actually, I think I would be more of a liberal parent for my kid doing things because I'm like, God forbid something horrible happens. Like, at least I have a fail-safe, you know? And not to mention we chip our dogs. I have a Find My iPhone app. You know, when I lose my iPhone, I can find my iPhone. And maybe it's 16, maybe it's 18, but the kid will know about it. It won't be nefarious. It won't be secretive. And at a certain point, it's disconnected and they're doing their own thing.
See, I could not keep it a secret because the very first time that I checked it and I dropped her off at Ryan's house and she was really at Susie's house, I know that you're really at Susie's house. So I would blow my cover right away. So I'd have to tell her.
Oh, no. I try to bait you. So how is Susie's house? I'd let you build your case of lies so I can really come down.
Wow.
Go, wow. You're really gonna do me that way. Huh? Okay. No, gotta let them hang themselves. I get it. Kind of on the same vein here, we talked last week. I do want to keep this up. We're talking about just missing people in this area. I talked about Maurice Jefferson. I want to keep that case out there. Maybe someone didn't hear it last week. Maurice Jefferson, 16-year-old Maurice, left his home in Fort Lauderdale, Florida on November 30th, 1983 to attend basketball practice at Dillard High School where he attended school. It's been established that Maurice arrived at the Franklin Park basketball court that day, but he never made it to practice. 2 teenage girls reported seeing Maurice being forced into an Oldsmobile by 2 unidentified African-American males, but this hasn't been confirmed. Now, this is part of the missing, the missing persons thing. So do me a favor, please Google Maurice Jefferson. Keep that story out there. Share that story. I mean, if I just see one person do that, that would be awesome. I think there's just a lot of mystery around his disappearance. I remember being a little kid, this happening and this case staying with me. And I think, us doing the Weird Whatever podcast, let's try to get some of these cases out there. It's really going to be the people that helps these kind of cases kind of come to light. I know that in the past, there's been, I don't want to call them message boards. People will start Facebook message boards, in someone's name, like Maurice Jefferson, and they'll ask questions. They'll post old stories, and they kind of keep the story going out there. And you never know. I think in a couple cases, that's helped crack the case. So let's keep some of these stories. These are South Florida cases. These are local stories. These families have no idea what happened to their loved ones. Let's share this stuff. Maurice Jefferson, Google that story. He was 16 when he went missing.
It's a really important segment. I would say that if we had that chip thing, that we wouldn't maybe necessarily to have, because I think that until it happens to you, people don't realize how many missing people that there are. It'd
be interesting to talk to Maurice's family and ask them that chip question. I don't know if that's too personal of a question, but I think at this point, I'd love to hear their perspective on that.
Yeah,
because you're right. Your perspective changes when things happen to you.
100%.
If you've never been mugged before with a gun or a knife, or a stranger's done something, you don't have that. It's just a movie to you. It's never going to happen to you. But if it really happens to you, your whole perspective changes, I think, on just people alone.
Totally, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mr. Beckett, did you bring in your audio today?
I didn't bring my audio in today.
What the shit, man? Denny's, did you bring your audio in?
I did.
What do you have for us for your homework? We're all going to be bringing audio in.
All right, here. So I was going to pitch this to you guys. This is the latest and greatest in entertainment, and I was going to see what your guys' opinion was on having this. This could be something of the future. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I will let the clip explain itself.
Imagine looking up at a shooting star display instead of fireworks at an outdoor party. It's called space entertainment, and Tokyo startup AIL is trying to make it a reality by creating the world's first ever human-engineered shooting stars. Okajima imagines the product will be used at major events such as outdoor music festivals or even the Olympics. She imagines the cost will be similar to large firework displays. AIL plans to carry out its first test in 2018.
So what it is artificial meteor showers. So if you're holding a big event, a party, a soiree, something fancy, you can have a meteor shower go off right above you on cue. What are you guys' thoughts?
I don't like any of this stuff because I feel like it's tricking us to the point where I don't know what's real anymore, man.
You're right. We're at the point now where they've developed these like balls that they send off in a shuttle, and then it orbits and they drop them off. They can control it on location and have it at a specific spot, and they can have
Oh, okay, very cool. All right. This just in. Sorry, we're gonna be we're interrupting Denny's awesome story. We have a guest.
That's cool.
We have a guest. Well, I thought it'd be kind of cool to talk to the UFO hotline. This is where people call and they give their encounters. I wanted to see how credible these stories are. What goes on at the UFO hotline? How much activity do they get? Angelica, what is his name? Do we have him on live?
No, I think so we had left a message with him to come back to us to let us know if we could chat with him and, record him and whatnot. So I think he's returning that call now. Is
he in? Does he want to do it? Oh, very cool.
Look at that.
Does she know how to put the phone through? Oh, very good. All right. Yeah, let me know when he's on live. We'll talk to the UFO hotline person. Well, because I just read this story. I think it was North Carolina. I believe North Carolina, that they had last year in 2018 130 UFO sightings where they were calling into the hotline. I was wondering, what is this UFO hotline about? How many calls do they get a day?
And what do people want to talk about?
Yeah, what do they want to talk about, and are they credible? What's the craziest UFO story? I mean, what the hell goes on at a UFO hotline? Do we have them?
I think she's
Thank God we're not on live.
I think that you would have like if there was some serious stuff, I would probably call 911, right?
I don't know. Would you call 911 if you saw a UFO?
I would. I mean, I saw a UFO, and back then I didn't know that there was a UFO hotline. I definitely would have gone into the house and called the UFO hotline
instead of 911, right?
Yeah.
What's 911?
Definitely.
They're gonna get
what are they
out
gonna
of
do? Arrest it? Give it an IV? Well, they're not gonna do anything to it. There's nothing they can do to it. I would totally call the UFO hotline.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Dennis, go ahead and stretch. Tell us what's on. Continue your story.
Continue my story?
Yeah.
It hasn't been derailed at all. You guys even remember what I was talking about?
Reset the story.
Meteor showers.
Yeah, you want me to reset that whole story?
Fake meteor showers. Yes, please reset
I'm going to
that.
let the clip explain this all. No, I'm just kidding.
Do not say that boring ass clip again.
So what do you guys think? Send it off having meteor showers on command. Are humans, are we getting too crazy, too elaborate with our self-indulgence?
We're too clever. We're getting too clever. We're trying. We're so chasing that next thing. We can't just like what we have on Earth.
You're right.
We gotta go to that next level.
So I mean, on-demand meteor showers for for your parties.
I like it.
Yeah, but you said it would cost the same. It said it like
As a
it would
large
cost the same
fireworks.
on fireworks or whatever.
So what they're supposedly doing is they're setting up a whole, like, you would set up for the year, and they send in pods with enough stuff to do at least 3 or 4 displays.
Right here, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and give the floor to our guest. Hello, sir. Are you on the line? Denny's. I got nothing. Is he on the line? It's not working. We'll edit this out. Hello, sir. Yeah, we got nothing. Hello? And hello. Okay, I feel like we're on the KVJ show right now. Yeah, we got nothing. We'll figure it out. Let's move on to the next thing. As Denny's awkwardly goes over my crotch to figure it out.
It's a UFC, an unidentified foreign caller.
Yeah, let's just move along. It's all good. No worries. Let's see what else we got here. Here's a question for you guys. Okay, if you had the power, you've got a serial killer who just asked for forgiveness right before he dies or she dies. You have the power to let them into heaven or the afterlife. Do you do it or do you send them straight to hell? They really feel bad for what they've done. They are just so sad. You've got the power to do it. What do you do? You are basically playing God and how they live their afterlife. How do you do it, Vicky?
Well, not really.
Do they go to hell or do you forgive them and let them go to heaven?
Well, I wouldn't really be playing God. If I sent him to heaven, then he still had the chance to decide.
Go, keep talking.
I would just let him go to heaven, and then if God didn't want him there, then he'd just kick him out.
We don't have the phone call. We have to move on. Let's just move on. We'll do it next week, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, I was asking if you wanted to do him again.
Yeah, I would love to do him. But it's getting a little awkward. Every time I look over to
so
talk.
we'll push it back till next
Every
time.
time I talk to you, I'm trying to have a side conversation with you. Vicky awkwardly stops talking and looks at you, which sounds great, I can only imagine.
That's fine. All right, so we'll lock him in for next time.
We're still working out the kinks, baby. So let's make the announcement now, Denny's. So we don't have to deal with this bullshit anymore. We are going to we're making our own studio.
Woo!
Yes, we're not gonna have to worry about this crap. We are going to. I'm hoping within 2 weeks we have a brand new Weird Whatever studio at my crib. So
We can get as weird
that's
as
exciting.
we can get as weird as we want.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Becky can be shirtless, and we don't have to worry about HR. It's great stuff.
I love it.
All right, here's a little weird question for y'all. Earth has been taken over by aliens whose only vulnerability is cringe. What would be your tactic to cringe warfare? How do you stop them?
What's cringe?
Cringe? Like, you ever watch something and you just can't watch it anymore because it's so unbearable?
Oh, something that's cringeworthy?
It's making you embarrassed.
It's like it's so embarrassing. It makes you feel the pain of it.
It's like Corey Feldman singing. You're like, oh my gosh, this is so amazingly awfully awesome.
Or like somebody singing the national anthem and forgetting the words is pretty good cringe.
Oh, there's this one chick. She's singing the national anthem. She forgets the words. Does she forget the words twice? Then leaves.
So she forgets the words, she starts it over, forgets the words again, and then leaves to go look at the words, and then she comes back out.
And tries to sing it again, and the crowd's kind of...
They're still on her side.
So what's the solution?
She ends up slipping and falling on her ass and does it. So she messes up the words twice. They boo her. She comes back out. They give her, a little cheer, and then she falls on her ass, and then they just
She
get her.
slips, and then she just walks out.
But are we asking what the solution is to get rid of the aliens?
Yeah, I mean, something like that's cringeworthy to watch.
I think that we nationally broadcast 2 Girls, 1 Cup.
That's more...
That's wince.
Is that cringy, or is that just gross?
That's like wincy. Like I wince at
I've
it.
actually never watched it because I didn't want to cringe.
Vicky, do you know what we're talking about? 2 Girls, 1 Cup? Good.
probably better,
that's not...
yeah.
Becky, you're going too weird. You're going too whatever.
Whatever.
Vicky, do you have an answer to this? I am Google. I am. I'm trying to hire you. We're trying to go outside the box. How would you answer this question?
So what would I use to be cringeworthy
Yeah,
to get rid of the aliens?
That's the only way these murderous aliens can go away.
I hate those pictures, where they show you like their like skin or bubble or things like that, and those things like really make me cringe.
Some people love that. Which I'm going to go on about a 10-second to 50-second rant here about Facebook and the feed. Holy shit, y'all. When you're going down a feed, I don't want to see your gross, bloody blister on your toe or your ass or your neck. I don't want to see your butt boils. I don't want to see your gross neck pimples.
Ew.
Yeah, people post that shit all the time.
They've been
You're just
blocked.
kind of scramming. You're scramming. Scrolling. Just kind of scrolling down. And yeah, people are showing that stuff. Come on. What the hell are you guys doing?
Yeah, I hate that. Or when they do those like spider videos, I'll scroll and I'm like, ugh, get this out of it because I'm on my phone in the morning.
My boy. He turns into bitch boy Denny's when it comes to spiders. He is legit scared. Kind of how I have a massive fear of tall buildings, Beckett. He has a massive fear of spiders. We both get leg locked, just paralyzed. Anytime anything, if a big tall building, if I'm near it and I can't get away from the building, my legs will lock. If he sees a spider, the same thing will happen. Do you have a fear like that in your life?
When I was a kid, it was
Other than commitment?
This isn't the Bachelor podcast anymore. I think that aliens, like not like aliens from the movie, like sci-fi aliens, but real aliens, like unsolved mysteries. Those real aliens used to freak me out.
Okay.
Nowadays, I don't know.
What
I don't
what
really
puts fear in the beautiful eyes of a Beckett?
love.
Love, yeah, it is. It definitely, absolutely is. Yeah. Vicky, what's your big?
I've just been hurt so many times.
What's your? I know. You have such a hard time getting tail. Vicky, what's your? I love how Vicky just rolled her eyes at Beckett. Vicky, what's your biggest fear in life?
I don't like snakes.
That's your biggest fear, if you had to say.
Yeah.
Okay. Even like a rad racer. Not a rad racer,
mean,
a
I've
black
gotten-
racer. A rad racer is a video game, right?
I guess.
Or a toy.
I mean, I've gotten to the point where I'll just shoo them off instead of kill them. But
When you try to scare them, do you actually go, shoo, shoo? Mm-hmm. Okay.
well, I take like a broom and I'm like, go, go, go. And we have one extremely playful one in our yard that literally wants to play with us. When you take the broom, it's like, oh, you want to play? Yeah, I'm not
You
fond
gotta
of
shake
him.
a branch. That's how you get. I used to scare snakes off by shaking branches at them.
What would you say to the snake, Denny's?
I'm like, get out of here, snake. But yeah, you
Denny's,
just shake the branch at
Man,
'em.
you're a very edgy guy. That scared me.
I think dark water's pretty scary.
Dark water.
Oh, like water you can't see. You're like
Yeah.
walking. If you're wading waist deep in dark water.
When it's like nighttime and it's
Oh,
like
jeez.
dark water and
What-
like you're just
Going in the ocean to me is like eating a hot dog. Don't tell me what's going on with the whole process. Don't want to know. Don't. And hot dogs are kind of gross. The older I've gotten,
they're disgusting.
Hot dogs are gnarly, man.
It's amazing. Things I used to think was cool were cool as a kid, like the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Like I
remember being a kid, like 6 or 7, going in the refrigerator, taking a spoonful of liverwurst and relish, and just eating it and loving it. And talking about cringe, that makes me cringe.
so
Oh,
gross.
liverwurst bird,
Like,
really?
what do you think's in spam? It's like pig buttholes and like all
and it's
kinds
got
of like
spam's
weird
got
stuff.
that weird shiny gel on it.
I can't
The gel on the meat.
You guys gotta
man.
stop.
We got rid of the aliens.
Makes me want to barf.
And every chance I get to rant on hologram roast beef, I do it. There's a sub place. I'm not going to say the name of it, but every time I go in there, I'm looking in line, and the roast beef is there. It looks like a hologram, Vicky. What the shit is that?
It looks like gasoline
It's like a
on
rainbow.
water.
It's
It
like
is.
a rainbow.
It's a sheen of something. It looks like an oil spill on the meat. What is that? What the hell is it?
I don't know. I never eat roast beef ever.
Oh, gosh.
Underlaid by a vein.
But 18-year-old Jay Bird would just be, I love hologram meat. This is great.
These people that pay all this money for shrimp and they have to like clear out the poop.
Oh, don't even get me started
so
on
disgusting.
poop shrimp. It's rough, man. It's rough. It's rough.
But it has to be cleared out.
It's
otherwise-
veiny. It's veiny and it's poopy. Why do we eat it?
One of the worst things that I can't get out of my memory, Virginia from the morning show, she loves crawfish. And they've got like alien eyes and brains. She's like, oh, I love the brains. They're great.
She sucks the
She'll
brains
suck the
out
brain. I'm like, oh,
of its head.
it's
gross.
burned. It's burned.
That's gross.
Oh gosh, doing the Virginia voice, making me cough. Very, very.
Does
tough.
anyone need a beer while I'm at the fridge?
I really shouldn't. It's a Wednesday. Yeah, I'll take one. We are at 49 minutes. We can wrap this B up, or do you want to keep going, Denny's?
I mean, let's go 11 more minutes.
All right, I
That's
like
it.
All right, I
Do
like
you
it.
have any would you rathers?
I do have some. I kind of got some more weaker would you rather's, but let's play a fun game first. This is called Which is Scarier?
All right.
You got two options here. Some might have three. Tell me what is scarier for you. Let's debate this.
All right.
Freddy Krueger, Beckett talked about him earlier, or Michael Myers from Halloween.
For me, Michael Myers.
Michael Myers is creepier for me too.
Yeah, much creepier.
But think about it though. If there was really a thing
That
where when you
involves
went
your
to
nightmare.
bed, when you went to bed, some guy might murder you. That might probably take
Yeah,
the cake.
but Freddie had a sense of humor. Like he kind of
gives
had
a
like
shit? He's like-
some banter. But Michael Myers, just the fact that he's completely silent, just like him and Jason.
You're staying.
Voorhees.
You're staying with Myers.
I'm staying with Myers.
Even if nightmares, you could really die in them. You're staying with
I'm
that.
staying.
Oh, Beckett giving me chocolate milk beer,
We're at the bottom of the
which
barrel.
is awful. It's great. Thanks, Beckett. This should make great
Take a
decisions.
swig of that. I want to see your face after you drink it.
There's no way I'm gonna like sweet baby Jesus.
Is it cringeworthy?
This is cringeworthy beer. Well, what's the percentage? It's a porter, so you know it's crushable. No, I'm just kidding. I
The
have no
other
idea.
option is a double IPA grapefruit.
Ugh, gosh, I hate grapefruit. Denny's has got the diet of an 80-year-old man. He's got crackers, vanilla wafers, and grapefruit juice in his refrigerator.
I
and it
love grapefruit
sucks.
juice. I drink it without sugar.
Oh,
I
happy
drink it straight
80th
up.
birthday. Gosh. Do you like prune pie, too?
Bird's always making fun of my drink game.
Gosh, his drink game sucks. I love him. I love the man. I hate his drink game.
I'd love to get the audience into like ideas because now with the new setup that you guys are setting up with the home studio, we can go on the road, right? That's like
We can go portable. We actually, so my whole thing was doing a lot of thinking in Oregon, taking 2 weeks out in the woods makes a man think, let me tell you. I really wanted to try to do more with this podcast because we have a very loyal group that likes our podcast. I want to take it to the next level. We talk about going on trips. I would like this year to be more of, doing than talking. Here's the problem. We have all of these exciting ideas, and then with the KVJ show, they'll come at us at the last minute. You have 9 events on Saturday, and you have 11, and you have to do it because it makes the company money. And that makes it challenging sometimes. And I think sometimes people perceive that as us not following through on things and us being lazy, when in reality, I would love to be doing this all day long. I mean, Denny's will tell you, we're always wanting to film something. We're content whores. We love doing this stuff. Sometimes the business side of the KVJ show, it does knock us down a peg, and that sucks about that. So
It's all good.
But the cool thing, having the control at my house and having all that equipment to go anywhere, we can do this anytime, anywhere. That's what's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's what's exciting about it.
And because we were talking about maybe doing a movie, doing
Yes.
like Blue Martini, doing some kind of outside events, right?
Yes, so I have a possible event this Saturday night, and that's why I didn't want to talk about it tonight because I wanted to invite people out, but I don't know if it's too messy to even bring up. So thanks for bringing that up, Becky. All right, let's get back to our game, which is scarier. How did that get derailed so bad? Okay. Oh yeah, what's scarier for you, Denny? Is it Freddy Krueger or Michael Myers?
So if we're going on the killers themselves, I'd say Freddy Krueger's scarier because he haunts your dreams. You can't sleep. You start going crazy. Eventually, you're going to fall asleep and get murdered. I mean, there's just no way around it, really. So I'd say he's scary. But I would say, as far as the movies go, Michael Myers is way scarier.
I agree with Denny's movie. Movie Michael scarier. Real life Freddy scarier. All right.
Who's Michael Myers?
Okay, that's why he did. So you know Austin Powers? Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking in
yeah.
my
He's
head.
against Dr. Evil. Beckett, get your shit on point. Let's go.
I know Freddy Krueger. I haven't watched any Michael Myers
Okay,
stuff.
here's your homework. You have to do this. You have to. If not, you got a 10-minute timeout. You can go in the penalty box next week.
Okay.
You have to watch the original Halloween this week. By next week of Wednesday, you have to watch the original Halloween, and I want a 2-minute movie report on it. If not, you get a 10-minute or 15-minute timeout.
Well, it has to be age appropriate. I think he's old enough for a 15-minute timeout.
15 minutes. If you don't, you got to your mic's off.
I think I'd rather take 30 seconds on the shot collar.
Make it 20 minutes now because you're being sassy. 20 minutes because you're being a sassy ass. Okay, what's scarier? Volcanoes, earthquakes, teenades, a.k.a. tornadoes.
I think it's teen AIDS.
No,
Teenades.
teenades.
I
Teenades.
don't even think that movie Kids. Now that movie.
Teenades.
That's got a
traumatized.
depressing ending.
That just traumatized me.
Vicky, what's scarier? Volcanoes,
Tornadoes.
tornadoes, or
Yeah,
earthquakes?
I'd have to go with tornadoes.
I have to agree with you. I feel like tornadoes cause so much damage out of the blue. Although earthquakes
Literally.
are
I
I was
pretty...
gonna say earthquakes
Out of the
are.
Earthquakes, I'm not down with that either. Earth shaking, that's kind of horrifying.
What would you do if you're on a bridge and an earthquake starts happening?
Poop my pants. Literally, probably.
The thing that sucks about it, it depends where you are. Like in an earthquake, if you're on a bridge or in a high rise, that sucks. If
For
you're in
sure.
the middle of the country, you're kind of like, eh.
I don't know.
Kinda
I'd
sucks.
probably if I was in the
If
middle
you're
of
in a building, it's sketchy because the
Yeah.
building could collapse.
I don't know if you're on a farm with the cows, you're seeing the cows move. I don't know.
Teenagers are scary though too.
Teenagers are so scary. No, I remember as a kid, I was like 10 years old, and I saw a funnel cloud / water spout off of Lake Park. Well, I think it turned into it was a water
sure,
spout.
for sure.
It turned into a funnel cloud. I don't. That's how they explained it to me, Denny's. I don't know why you're mocking me.
Well, because I was a kid. I grew up in Kansas when I was youngster, and we had real tornadoes. Not
Always gotta-
not funnel clouds.
Always gonna outdo me.
I'm just saying.
Always gonna outdo me. What a teenage dick.
Well, as Floridians, our arch nemesis being hurricanes, like that, tornadoes are the worst part of hurricanes. Like people don't realize that.
For
Like,
sure.
A lot of times, like the worst things that happen in terms of damage of a hurricane is a tornado.
No, the
the
worst part of
windstorm.
hurricanes is having all of your frozen foods melt. God.
Or thinking you have the next day off and then having to come in the morning.
Clearly that was a joke. Please don't email me about how I'm insensitive about hurricanes. I get it. Gosh. Which is scarier? Being buried alive or being burned alive?
Buried alive, easy.
Ugh,
I would hate it. I would not cope well
So
with that.
I feel like one would be painful and suck awful. I think one would be more psychologically
Well,
traumatic.
all right, so imagine like if you're laying in a coffin and you're underground, you can't even reach your feet if like you had like any
Ugh.
and if you had an itch on your foot, you can't move, and then you basically have to wait until oxygen just depletes and you fall asleep.
Could
it probably
you-
takes like 2 days.
But could you imagine that? Because anytime I watch a show or movie where it's something where someone can't breathe,
Confined,
I
ugh.
instantly start to.
Same
I
here.
imitate what's going on the screen. I could not imagine being
Ugh.
buried alive with the psychological. You're trying to move around, you can't breathe. The shortness of breath is getting so
You
short.
can't even sit up.
Yeah, your mind, because it's gonna take a minute. It ain't gonna be quick.
It's got to take like what 2 days for you to
no.
you-
Vicky, you're an educator.
I don't know. It depends. There's actually a famous case where this girl was kidnapped here in Florida, and they buried her in a coffin, and they provided her with like these water containers, and she had like a straw that led from the water containers, and they had like a fan that led to an outside thing.
But they had an
Sick
operation
people.
going on there. That's without any kind of,
But she was alive through all that, and so she didn't know when her battery, because it was all like battery operated and stuff, and eventually the battery ran down.
what a
And
mind.
they got her in time. And, surprisingly enough,
Oh my
she was
gosh.
not permanently scarred. She led a normal life after that.
So I
But
wonder, though-
imagine the days. It took days for them to find her.
And I think
Oh
there's
my
probably
gosh.
levels of burying somebody. I think you can bury somebody alive like 10 feet under where you are compacted,
sure.
and you're just like, and that it's gonna probably take. I mean, it sounds like their whole purpose was
Their purpose
to
was to
keep
get-
her
yeah,
alive
yeah.
while she was buried
Yeah,
alive
to get the money and
mess
keep
with
her
her.
alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm talking about buried alive. I think.
so-
I think it probably you're gonna suffocate.
For sure,
Yeah,
I
you
think
gotta
you would suffocate. But if the dirt is loose at first, I imagine it has to aerate first. So I imagine that has to take at least 24 hours, right?
Oh my gosh.
I think that's the worst part. I think it's gonna take you a day before you die from it.
Yeah,
Google it.
researcher, what the shit, man?
I
Don't have his homework.
I don't know Virginia's password.
It is probably chickens.
Here, don't tell anyone, but
That
it's
was Panda.
No, just,
WRMF 2010.
is it?
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody. her password back in Wild 95 was chickens.
Oh yeah, that's her old password for everything. It's chickens.
Chickens, yeah.
Chickens.
But okay,
Don't tell anyone.
Now keep in mind, burning alive is no Swiss picnic either.
Right, but
No.
I think at some point the pain from that you actually
Knocks you
just
out.
you get knocked out.
So you
from it.
think within 30 seconds to a minute, the pain's so bad, it's a threshold. You get through it.
You're in
Right.
shock.
Yeah.
Okay, you're in shock.
You're in shock and you're just numb to it.
So we're all going burned alive on that one.
Although I hear your
for
eyeballs
scare.
pop.
You said which was scarier?
Yeah, or
To me, burying alive is scarier
Oh,
than
geez.
being.
Well, you're going to
burned.
be annoyed, but I lean a little to buried alive because I feel like maybe I can get out.
There's no loophole back in.
No loophole?
no, Beckett.
You're buried in
There's
a
never
coffin.
a loophole. Okay, you know what,
It's not
Vicky?
like Kill Bill 2.
Vicky, can you do me a favor? You being the educator and being the most organized, can you put that his ice box time for him not being able to talk, his penalty box is now 30 minutes. If he doesn't watch Halloween next week,
All right. I'll remember.
he's digging himself a hole. Pun intended. Okay, what's creepier? Now, keep in mind, this is a real life scenario. If all of a sudden, when you turn on the news, reports of either witches, real life witches are flying around throwing fireballs and shit and eating children, doing all the crazy shit witches do is now a thing. When you turn to the weather, it's 20% witch tomorrow. That's what we're dealing with. Or witches or vampires. They fly around. They're trying to drink your blood. They're trying to stay all young. What is scarier? Let's go with Denny's.
I think it'd probably be scarier vampires, man.
Totally.
Witches are scary,
It's
but
easy.
Witches scare the shit out of me. I know. I work with one. And, but imagine looking, okay, you're out on your balcony. Beautiful moon is out there, and you see a witch fly by throwing fireballs,
Yeah.
trying to eat children. That's cool.
you know what witches are scary? The I think they're called seers, the Seers. They're the witches that can't see from Greek mythology that hold
yeah.
up they have to share the eye.
Yeah.
Those witches are creepy and they eat humans.
Do witches eat kids? I didn't know that was a thing.
I thought, I'd imagine that's on the
Yeah.
resume. Yeah. Right, Vic?
I think they do all sorts of
You ever
I
damage.
don't,
seen
but-
Wicked? Have you guys ever seen Wicked?
The musical?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. I have the musical in my car
So
right
there's
now.
always another side of the story.
All right.
I don't get your clever pun. I don't watch that bullshit.
he hadn't seen that.
All right, last one. No, two more. Murderous clowns. Murderous clowns break into your house, Vicky. Or murderous children, like Children of the Corn.
Oh, children. I don't want children in the house.
That's creepy, right?
Yeah.
And they're singing in unison, and they've got
No.
axes, Beckett.
I'll kick them.
You'll kick? Yeah, no, you can't. There's 40 of them, and they're taking Bitch Boy down. They chant.
He's going to have to watch Children of the Corn now, too.
Okay,
Because he doesn't get the reference.
Do you
so.
want to add that to his punishment? Does his
He has to watch both.
Does his
Yeah.
behavior today on today's podcast deserve where he's got to watch Halloween and Children of the Corn, Vicky?
Yes.
Okay,
I need.
two movies you
I'm
have
going
to
to be so traumatized by next Wednesday.
No, the opening. If no one's ever seen the first 10 minutes of Children of the Corn, it stays with you. Holy crud! I watched it.
Why would you do that to me?
I watched it during Halloween
You
time.
just recently
I
watched
did,
it.
and I don't like it. It gave me a weird feeling because these little kids they're murderous.
Yes.
They're murderous, Denny.
P.S. There's a thing on CNN about this murderous clown. Did you see that with the serial killer? It was a clown dressed up as a clown.
Are you talking John Wayne Gacy? Because, hey, 1987 called and they want their story back.
Yeah, no, it's a former story. I have no idea.
It's probably
about
John.
Remember that woman who just recently got caught with DNA? That
The
was
Wellington
a clown.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, that's another clown
Was it a
story.
local story?
No, CNN.
Was it a serial killer?
Yes.
John Wayne Gacy.
It has to be John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah,
Why
must
are they
be.
bringing him up in the news?
They're doing a documentary on
Can
him.
you Google
Yeah,
that
of course.
really
Are
quick?
they doing a documentary on him?
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna see. It's gonna be the thing.
It's going to be the thing,
Right.
for sure.
because of the Bundy stuff.
They actually have a clip of him in the beginning of the Bundy tapes too, because they're talking about the time period.
Other prolific
I mean,
killers.
Wayne Gacy was pretty awful too.
For
man.
sure, for
Like,
sure.
He put his victims in crawl spaces. He was so
Yes.
brazen with his victims. My God.
And he had the basement.
He killed people that he had ties with. How do you not think you're going to get caught? I think you're just
At that point, you've
yeah,
lost
I
it.
think you've lost your mind at that
Yeah.
point, without a doubt. All right, couple would you rather's, real quick. We have got, and forgive me if I have asked these questions before. I do not want to recycle content. Would you rather have 10 dog penises for fingers,
What?
or to always poop in public completely naked?
Oh, jeez.
So you have 10 dog penises constantly. You have to go to work, Vicky, like that, reading your books. Denny's, you got to edit with dog penises.
Yeah, but I mean,
Bunch of lipstick.
Yeah, it's the lipstick penises.
All
We
right.
all know what the dog penis is. We've all
I'd
seen
take
it
the dog penises.
over.
Pooping naked publicly.
You
yeah.
have a fear about pooping naked.
I was always like thinking, what happens if you're in a public bathroom and you're just chilling doing your thing, and all of a sudden all four walls drop and you're on a game show,
Oh, man.
and it's called like Look Who's Pooping or
That'd be
something.
something in China. That'd be something like China
Totally,
would
but
do.
how fucking mortified would you be?
I think it's great.
I think Look Who's Pooping would be a great game show. I think it would do great in the States.
Just imagine the walls drop and you're like, what?
Yeah,
And
no.
there's an audience around you.
No, it's so weird. We get so many hate emails on the morning show because Kevin, Virginia, myself, and Denny's, we are all such private poopers. We don't like to talk about it. We like to go to our own little areas. But some people really, they have no qualms about pooping in public. I got one
For
buddy.
sure.
He was on a first date and he had to poop, and he's telling his first date about how he had to poop. There's no way I would do that. Could you ever say that on a first date?
Hell no. One of my buddies on one of his first dates, he was like farting right in front of his date.
That's
And she was
insane.
like laughing at it. I was like, damn, this is the weirdest date I've ever been like,
That's an insane
a part
tactic
of.
to me. I don't get that move. It works for some people.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
I don't know.
Okay, so Vicky, what are you
I'm
doing?
going with the dog penises.
Really?
Yes, I do not like using the restroom
In public, yeah.
even in public. Period. Not to mention you know.
Naked. I
Yeah.
know.
Oh,
Talk
jeez.
about your most vulnerable
Oh, my
state
gosh.
as a human. You can't get any more. Beckett, what do you go with?
I'm totally going pooping in public.
You're gonna take the dog penises.
No, pooping in public. That's what. That's what.
Oh,
that's what
my
I'm saying.
bad. Gotcha.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I get a little angry there. I'm drinking this 8.9%
Because think about it, I
beers.
keep my like same anatomy, and then I just have to poop in public. It's amazing.
Naked. You have a good body though, Beckett. It's an annoying. Yeah. No.
Then we're kind of just like dogs, just pooping in public. Like I think get over it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna get arrested for it, right?
This is more of an innocent one. This is more of a brain teaser, if you will. Would you rather run at 100 miles per hour or fly at 10?
Fly at 10.
Fly at 10, 100%.
Vicky?
Running's neat.
I mean, 100 miles per hour? You could get to Port St. Lucie like that. Not that you want to,
Yeah.
but
You could be there
just
lickety
kidding,
split.
Pizzle. Just kidding. I love me the Pizzle. I love it. Just a joke.
I would rather run 100 miles.
I'm with Vicky on this one.
I can't do anything that slow.
I'm scared
It
of
drives me
heights,
nuts.
so, you know.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's an obvious one.
10 miles an hour is pretty fast flying.
I would fly if I could only go 3 feet off the ground. If that's cool.
Just
I
think
would
about it,
hover.
you could be Aladdin.
Yeah.
A whole new world,
Don't you dare close your eyes.
a brand new.
Different point of view.
Oh, Denny's, gosh,
I didn't know I was going to get put on the spot.
got honey in your voice tonight. Love it. All right.
That is a good ass song, though, by the way.
what? Okay, we all answered that one. Would you rather have your private part on your forehead, or the worst case of pink eye in the history of humanity? You can't wear glasses. You can't cover up the private part.
Which private part is it?
It is for you, it would be your penis and your testicles.
I didn't know if we were flipping.
For Virginia, for Vicky, too many V women around me. It would be your privates. I won't say the name because I feel weird. And then Beckett, you know.
Well, would it be the B's or the V's for the women?
It would be the V. Oh, it's the worst case scenario. It'd be the V. It'd be the V on your forehead.
And then the B's on the side?
It would be the V on the forehead with a ton of H. Hair. What do you go with?
I go with pink guy.
You always have pink eye.
For your whole life?
For your entire life, Beckett. And you can't wear awesome amazing glasses.
If you had a Wikipedia page, it would definitely be like, you have pink eye forever.
Forever. It's the worst case that humanity's ever seen. Your eyes are shut. Every time you make out, eye boogers are falling on your girl's cheek. It's terrible.
Man.
Yeah.
You said to wear underwear on my head now?
No, you didn't listen. You can't cover it up. Vicky, what other movie does he have to watch? Do I have to make him watch Roadhouse now?
How am I going to go for a jog if I can't?
Dog, that's why this game is a game of terribleness.
I think I have a D on my forehead.
You have a D on your forehead. I go with, I think I go with pink eye, and I just rock it, man. Although it's kind of gross, though. No, I go with D on my head. I go with D on my head.
I knew you'd come around.
I go privates on my head. That's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
That's a really hard one.
The perv in me, I was thinking, like, how do I have sex that way?
Well, you still have your regular peen. You just have one on your.
You have two?
Yes.
100% going with that.
but the one.
Now it just turned into like a good thing.
Hold on, I'm not done. But the one in the basement doesn't work. It's just limp.
Oh, now you're changing it.
No, it's withered.
He always changes it.
It's withered.
It's got leaves on it for some odd reason.
What if you had two that worked?
No, that's too awesome.
Now it's a superpower.
All right. Would you rather speak your mind constantly? Everything that comes in your mind, you are publicly giving it, or you're never allowed to speak again. You can't even write your thoughts. You can't tell anybody why you're not speaking either. You're just ignoring everybody. What do you do?
Oh, I'll shout it out.
Yeah, no filter.
Everything that comes into your brain.
Yeah, I just have to control my thoughts a little bit more.
No, there's no way. How do you control some of these thoughts? Denny's, can you control your thoughts?
No, it's tough.
It's tough. So Vicky,
Well, you could speak. You would just be hated by everyone.
you're walking down the street and you see a hot UPS guy, and you're like, "Holy shit! Look
or
at that."
FedEx guy.
Or FedEx. You're right. I don't want to pick sides. You're right. I don't want to get political. And you see him, and you love his buns, and that's the first thing they go. And he's walking by. Ooh, I love your buns. That's what we're dealing with.
I'm fine with that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Beckett, what do you go with?
I think I go with no filter.
No filter. All right. Denny's, you're a man behind the scenes. It'd be interesting.
It would suck not being able to speak ever. And you said you can't write for some reason. Like you've lost that ability too.
Can
you blink Morse code?
You are allowed to only do it in the forms of charades. That's the
only form of communication is charades every time.
So right now for the TV, because this is on TV, show me how you would.
All right, what would I have to say?
Let me try to figure out what you're doing right now. This is how you would communicate.
All right.
Oh, you're so hungry right now. You're hungry and you're horny. You're hungry and horny, and you have to piss.
He wants to be a dolphin.
Oh, come on,
Yeah, I could do that.
Dog, you got
if
this.
I get charaded, then I'm cool.
Dude, you're just charading
All
life.
right, I'll do that one.
I love it. We're getting
What
into-
about Bird?
I have to talk, but I think ridiculous things. So this could be the end of my career, probably. So, I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to take the chance of being able to speak my mind, but I wouldn't last a day on the air.
No, you'd have to
There's
change.
no way I would last a day on the air. Okay. Last question here. Would you rather speak all languages possible? I mean, we're talking even binary, Denny's.
All right, the language of the robots.
Yes, but we're talking every language here. Or be able to speak to animals. What do you pick? One is so friggin' cool.
Yeah.
I know my answer. Only talking about speaking to animals.
Yeah, animals is the obvious.
Imagine-
I would not pick animals.
What?
I would definitely pick animals.
Imagine
I
going.
wouldn't pick animals either.
Imagine going on a date, like a first date, and you go to the beach, and you're sitting talking to the girl, and all of a sudden you go, and a dolphin comes up, a bird perches on your arm.
Yeah.
A little raccoon comes up and nuzzles with you.
If you couldn't close the deal after that, there's a problem.
That's amazing. You can't.
Something tells me animals don't have much to say.
Bullshit,
that
Denny's.
is BS.
I
That
feel like
is
a lot of them
BS.
act purely on impulse, and I feel like as far as commonalities, I mean,
Please.
That
Beckett's gonna be talking hay.
that pot's rotting your
Please.
brain.
Get
Can
out
you
of here.
imagine go to a girl's house and be like, "Hey, was there any other guys here in the last couple of days?" And the dog could be like, "Yeah, there's 4 of them."
I don't know. That dog might show loyalty to her. Though.
You
Do
never
you
know.
think that the male dog understands guy code? I don't know if it does. I don't know.
It follows dog code.
It follows dog code.
Yeah, I'd rather talk to every human, be able to go anywhere and talk to people.
I'm not
we have
say-
Google Translate now. You can just like speak into your phone. And,
I'm not saying that's not awesome.
They got apps where you can talk to
no,
dogs.
to be able to break into Italian any minute and then into Spanish. No, that would
or
be
just to
ama-
understand every
It
language.
would be amazing. But to be able to talk to squirrels,
But I mean, I just feel like they are not talking about anything I care about at
Denny's,
all.
you are out
But
of
how
your
do you
mind.
know?
They're gonna be like, I'm sure they're just thinking
You-
nuts and survival.
You don't think the bald eagle's got some perspective?
I really don't, man.
Get
I think
the
he's,
hell
I
outta
think he's
here.
trying to catch
Get outta here with
catch him
that.
some.
You are out of your mind.
He's trying to get some fish, man.
Oh man! Well, we are ending this. Well, we're going. We're doing an independent movie today.
I think this might be more controversial than the,
hour 15 minutes
I think
today.
this might be more controversial than the moon.
It might be. We have to end this because I have to wake up to be on the air in 3 hours. Guys, thank you for listening. Please make sure you follow us on my Instagram at JasonKVJ. I know we also have our Facebook page. We also have a Weird Whenever Instagram, correct? What is that again? Weird Whatever? At
Yeah.
Weird Whatever?
Yep,
At
Weird Whatever, yep.
Please follow us. Please tell a friend, tell a grandma. Anybody has to plug anything before we get out of here? Don't everyone talk at once.
I got nothing to
All right,
plug.
good. We love you all. Thank you guys for tuning in. And remember, Bigfoot is real.
What was that? What? What's that sound? It's aliens and they're living in your town.